Let's get into our second letter. Oh, wow, this is a very short one. But thank you for sending it. Hi, sisters. I'm very confused. My 11-year-old stepson bumped into his mom and I having sex in the hall 3 days ago. Girl. The mother tried convincing him that I was only massaging her because we were not totally naked. I'm trying to get that sight in my The boy has been dull since then. He was confused now. No, he didn't say, we are confused now. Would it have any traumatic effect on him? Is there any better explanation I can give him that will be more convincing? Help me, sisters. I think this is easy peasy.
Oh my word.
Did it say how old the boy was?
He's 11 years old.
He's 11.
No, but
Okay, I think I understand. I think I understand why he's a bit traumatized. Let me just try. Okay, no, before I just start, Olivia, you can try it out.
11 is quite young, and well, not so young nowadays with social media and all of those things. Well, if it's a good child, you probably will be surprised. I mean, there's one thing seeing it on screen, and there's another thing actually seeing your parents getting at it. So definitely he will be traumatized, but sex is sex. You need to have that conversation with him. Mommy and daddy need to have a conversation with him. What you could do is to probably go on a walk with him. And don't cover it up. You guys had sex. You should have been more responsible with a child in the house. You should have looked up, you know, because however you want to look at it, you have scarred his innocence for life. And it's very sad because his innocence has been taken away from him. That is, if he genuinely did not know anything at all when it comes to sex and stuff. So don't hide it. Don't say you were massaging, because he saw what he saw, and if he's seen what he saw somewhere else, he knows what he saw. So you saying it is you're not gonna help matters. So I just think that have that honest conversation with him. Yes, you were being intimate. You do apologize. You should have been more responsible. You should have appreciated his presence at home, and then just be apologetic and be real with him. And it's simple. Like, I'm always open about sex conversations with my children. Like, I don't try and sugarcoat it, or I want them to come to me and ask me. I'd rather they ask me than to go and research on the internet and stuff. And I find that sometimes we as adults, we overly complicate things, because it could be simple words. Yes, mommy and I were having sex. I'm so sorry that you should not have seen it. I'm so sorry that we made you see it. But, you know, I do apologize. It's not going to happen again. But mommy and I were having sex. It's not going to happen again. And it will surprise you. Don't even talk long. Don't even talk plenty. And then just ask them whether they are okay. You know, have that conversation and find out, oh, are you okay? Like, what do you think? Is it worrying you in any way? You know, all of that. Depending on how the child feels, or you have to be more observant as well. Maybe some children might recoil, because what it is that it could just keep flashing in their heads, and it will flash in their heads.
Well, it's to keep on flashing in their head, like, and I think that's what he's going through, because if you say you were massaging each other, if you were on top of her, he might have felt like you're harming mommy.
At the end of the day, you don't even know how long your child was
watching. Exactly.
Exactly. So,
or if you were spanking mommy, you're like, why are you beating my mommy?
You know,
exactly. That's what I'm like, okay.
I have an 11-year-old, and God forbid, touch wood, I do not want to see my 11-year-old son seeing us having sex, because children grow up so quickly, and you know, there's never a right age for you to see your parents having sex.
No, because even at this age, I don't want to see it. I don't want to imagine it.
I had a friend in the UK. Her parents had told her, go out, get out, hurry up. You know, in the UK, once you're 16, you can start working, you know, be independent and stuff. And then she didn't want to move out of home. They had been telling her one day. She didn't go to, I think she was going to work and she forgot something. So she was coming home. She came back home. The mommy and daddy thought that, she's out of the house. Do you know what? They were busy at it on the stairs. Her parents are like 50 and 60 something. They were busy on the stairs at it. Like, her mother in a certain position and her father in a certain position. She opened the door, like, from that day, 2 seconds, but she packed out and she left. But my point is, there's never a right age for you to see your parents having sex. So to adults out there, let's all be, I mean, including myself, let's all be very mindful when we have children at home and when we want to be intimate. We just need to do that for our children. That's all. Because the mental scarring, you can't do anything about it. Once it's there, it's with them for life.
Right. So what do you think, Felicia?
Yeah, I think this might be a good. It's unfortunate. Like, I can't stop laughing because I can always say you go explain tire. This is a perfect situation for you go explain tire. You will explain, but I guess this is a good opportunity to have that sexual reproductive health conversation with your child, because just as Olivia rightly said, 11-year-old is not a child, neither is he or she an adult. So whether you like it or not, he might have heard something about it. Even if he's not exposed to sex, he might have heard it around school. So, and having seen it with his parents is crazy. And in this case, a stepfather. So it's crazily traumatic. And I think, yes, take the opportunity to make lemonade out of this lemon. Start having that sexual reproductive health conversation with him, and use this opportunity to explain what happened and apologize, like as Olivia said, because there's no better age to see your parents having sex. Like, I can't imagine having chance on that. And for a little child, if you are not careful, you are lucky that he's even reacting to it. Some kids will keep quiet, go to school and experiment. Ooh. And that will be worse. So thank your stars that at least he's showing signs of trauma and you could address it from home. Spend more time with him, take him out, do extra curricular activities to get him out of the space he finds himself, and show him the right way to do these things. And please be careful when you have kids around. I don't know if they are married. If they are married, yes, they should be careful. If not, and they are still dating, they need to get their things out of the house. Like, do their things outside of the house, especially during this period, because you never know when next. Now you'll be surprised. You'll be sleeping in the room and you even wake up to come and see what is happening there. So
right. Yes, okay, I love the fact that I really loved the fact that you talked about sex education. And in the Western world or more developed world, like, sex education is nothing. It starts quite early. They even tell you to start out as early as 5 years old, which I don't think is a problem, because it depends on your age. That you know, they know what kind of education to give you. Like, when you're 5, let's say it starts from 5. Yeah, I read that it starts from 5. When you're 5, you can actually tell your kid, this is breast. It's not boo. It's not something name. You understand? This is a vagina. It's not called pee-pee, pawpaw. You know, give it the real name. So, you know, because this actually helps children open up to you. Yes. You understand? And have autonomy over their body, and to protect themselves if someone wants to touch them. But now, in the you know, I think these people are asking us this question. This guy is sending in this letter just because obviously we're in the Ghanaian setting. And there was a time that, you know, sex ed was supposed to be introduced in the schools, and how parents, people in the country backed out. Now, with this kind of situation, how do you think the parents are supposed to address this, especially with the kind of mindset that we have now?
Interestingly, I got the experience to opportunity to volunteer with Human Rights Advocacy Center. So we're doing sex ed in some senior basic schools around Accra. I remember one day we went to speak to the kids, and one headmistress came and said, "Hey, the Bible says don't have sex. The Bible says." Well, I really don't get us sometimes when we have to face real facts. We conveniently introduce religious conversation, and it kind of makes everything murky. I respect Christianity, I respect everybody's religion, but I feel like when we get to a point where we need to talk about stuff realistically, let's face it, I know some kids who were traumatized sexually in church. It happened right in church. When their parents were in the big hall praying, the kids were doing the do in the Sunday school class.
Papa.
Yes. And when we have to talk about it, you say, oh, and Christ said Christ was. So yes, you can even use the Bible to do the introduction to your child. It depends on what you believe in. Start small. Show me your breasts. What is this? Show me your leg. Show me, and start naming the body parts.
Call it their biological name. Yes.
You are lucky now. Your child has, likely or unlikely, has seen you having sex.
Exactly.
Now tell him or him what sex is.
Exactly.
And what the consequences are. You were born because mommy and daddy had sex, and we gave birth to you. So it comes with a lot of positivity. We have an amazing child like yourself because we had sex. So it's important for mommy and daddy to have sex so that we give birth to amazing babies.
Siblings.
You can get siblings. So there's a way of, based on your situation, based on your
But it's for
setting,
adults.
that is for adults. And when you are doing this even as an adult, you need to protect yourself. You need to do this. You need consent. You need this. You need that. When you go to school, you don't touch your friend, your female friend's breast because it's sexual assault. Like,
Yes.
you have to find a way to disseminate the information depending on your setting. We all have different settings. Luckily, my mom is very blunt. So growing up, because my sister, we all don't have senses. I'm even better off than my little sister. She says things and I'm like, that is us because of how open my mom is and the environment we grew up in. So look at your setting and look at how best you can have this conversation. I remember my uncle's wife buying me a pack of condoms. She didn't necessarily have a conversation with me. We went shopping. She's like, oh, if I'm surprising you, and she bought it for me. So you can find creative and interesting ways to bring these conversations into your home based on your setting. There's no clear cut. There's no memoir to how to do it because we all have different settings. We all have different beliefs. But ensure that you do it and you do it right because it's very important. I tell you, whether you like it or not, these kids know more than we do.
Exactly.
You'll be amazed, especially with this day and age, these tablets and stuff they are holding. Regardless of how much you protect them, they have conversations with friends in school.
Yes.
They see things in their community.
Yes. And then even since they have access to their phones, to their tablets, sometimes if you forget to put like any parental, guidance on the tablets, you can actually catch them watching porn.
If we have to be, you feel stuff. When you're a kid, don't you feel stuff in your body?
Exactly.
Adolescents, you feel it. Whether you've been exposed or not, your body starts to do you some way. Before you say Jack, when your male friends hold your hand, you used to feel okay. Now they hold your hands and you start to feel butterflies.
It's like my teenage son, yeah? It's like my teenage son. One day, we're just having a conversation. And then he was like, oh, my friend can father a child. Like, excuse me, what do you mean father a child? He was like, but we start having sperm. Like, I'm like, wait, what? Like you ejaculate. He was like, yeah, wet dreams. I'm like, oh my God, you're not married. I was so sad. I felt like you should tell me. I was like, so when it happened, what'd you do? He was like, nothing. I felt weird in the beginning until I had to Google about it. I'm like, you had to Google, you couldn't ask me? He was like, I don't know how to tell you about it. So that means they understand some things. They go to the internet to explore stuff. And if you don't have that relationship with them, I think they will go out there and explore. Yeah. Well, anyway, Rosie, tell us.
That was a long wait. Very long wait. So I was just waiting. Anyway, so basically a lot has been said. But I think for the man to say is his stepson, I'm thinking that he and the woman are living as a married couple.
Yes.
And it's one thing seeing your mom and dad, but it's another thing seeing your mom with another man. Depending on how you've accepted the man as your stepfather. Some children have a hard time accepting another parent, like a third party as a parent. So if he hasn't accepted you properly as a parent, it even makes a thing worse. It makes it a bit more weird to deal with. But talking about sex education, what I've realized with my 6 and 4-year-old, soon to be 7 and 5-year-old, is that they know a lot more than we give them credit for. My son came to me one day and asked, "Mommy, you will die before we die, right?" And I said, well, that's a natural cause. Okay. So who will take care of us?
Wow.
Where would we live? And I said, oh, well, we'll make sure everything is put in place before we leave for you. He goes like, oh, the coin box. As in, we are making investments for him in the coin box. Now, the question is that at 6 years old, why would you think you'd be thinking about growth? You know, it's like, that is not the kind of conversation I had with my parent when I was 6 years old. Now, I don't know what it is, whether it's the vitamins we're taking before having them, I don't know what it is, but it looks like gradually the children are getting more mature in thinking. Now, believe you me, that 11-year-old knows about sex. He knows about it, he knows what it is, he knows what it does. The only thing is that he had to picture two the most unlikely people do it in front of him. That is what is traumatizing him. Now, lying to him that it was a massage. See, my husband told my son a lie. It was not one of those 2x4 lies, you know. And I think he forgot himself. And then he said, but Daddy, you said this. You lied. Look, he reminded him for like 2 years consistently that he lied. He lied. He lied.
Oh, so your son is like me.
Yeah, he lied.
I'll torment
he lied.
you.
So he had to say that, oh, Dante, I didn't lie to you. I just wanted to, but I'm sorry I lied to you. Before he let it go, even that he had to say that I'm sorry, sir, when he let it go. So the fact that you are lying to the child,
that's a problem.
Now the child is thinking, do they think I'm stupid? Do they think I don't know what's going on? I'm thinking that this situation.
So basically, will we call it the form of gaslighting, making him feel like
no, it's not. This is not gaslighting. No. Gaslighting is an intentional damage you want to do to somebody.
Okay.
This one is not gaslighting. The parents are afraid.
Okay.
You see, they are putting themselves into their 11-year-old selves. When we were 11 years, we didn't know as much as these 5-6-year-old children know now. So they are putting themselves into their 11-year-old self, comparing it to what their parents would have done if they had walked in on it. So they are not moving with the times to know that these children, they are not children. So what they should have done was to rather use this opportunity to have a sit down with the child. Because it's the stepfather, I would even advise the mother to first and foremost talk to the child and say, first apologize for what they saw, what he saw, the fact that they should have protected themselves and be more, responsible about the environment they were in, and let him know exactly what happened and the reason why it was okay for you and him to do, because both of you are married. So let him know that it wasn't like a casual thing. You are doing it because both of you are together, both of you are married, both of you are adults,
and you love each other.
And you love each other, and that's why you do these things. Some of the consequences of having sex, so then you begin to educate him on sexually transmitted diseases, the fact that children could come, and when a child comes, you need to be responsible, You give him all these tidbits. Then later on, after like a couple of days, then the man can now step in, man to man. Like Chris said, have a walk with the boy. And don't treat him like a child. At that point, treat him like, give him some respect as somebody who has seen something, who not only, who deserves an explanation and who deserves the truth. When you treat him like that, he would also reciprocate with respect for you. But the moment you want to lie to the boy that is a massage, he saw you behind doing things, and the woman was, what kind of a massage is that?
Maybe he was on top.
Or maybe she was on top of you. Are you a horse? Like, he's seen graphic things. And some of these things, he's probably seen it in some Kama Sutra books,
or his iPad or something,
or he's seen it somewhere.
Talking about it. They talk about it together.
He's seen it somewhere. So, I mean, he's seen images, but he hasn't put humans into it.
I'm sure he has seen some of these images probably with his friends or something.
Yes.
And they were all like, ew.
Yes.
And now the ew is right in front of him in the house.
To be honest with you, me, as I'm sitting here, I can't picture my mom and dad.
I don't want to.
I know my dad has plenty children. I don't want to picture how he went about it.
Right.
I can't picture that in my head. Even me, that I'm doing it. sometimes when my husband cleans up and dresses nicely, I wonder whether he was the same person.
Right.
You understand? We all get traumatized once in a while when we think about it.
So do you
once you are doing it, assuming a photo or a video was taken of you, and you had to see yourself
in the act.
You'd be like, ew.
you cringe in some
Exactly.
places. You know, so it's not a very comfortable thing to see. So subjecting the guy to see some of these things, I think that first and foremost, treat him with respect
Right.
by not lying to him.
So do you think the kid would tell his father, his own father?
No, well, we don't know whether his father is even alive.
Okay.
We don't know
But
if his father is
friends for
alive,
sure.
whether
Yeah,
his
for
life is
sure.
in the picture, or whether whatever. He may not even tell his friends, because some of these things, they're embarrassing. You can't, if you saw somebody else do it, maybe some teacher or somebody.
You know why I
But
think
I'm coming. But when it comes to your friends, and it has to do with your parents, unless of course you have maybe some very best friend that you want to share. But sometimes for some kids, especially those who are very sensitive, it will be very difficult to share, because once you share it, it becomes something that the other kids can use to tease you. So, but the thing is that he's battling within himself. He needs to talk about it. So before you give him the opportunity to have to go and share with his friends, you start that conversation with him, so that it's contained within a reasonable radius. You understand? So I just think that, look, it's unfortunate, and please, next time you know you have a child in the house, be more responsible. Even if he steps out, make sure you lock the door. You see, lock the door. So my kids like this, look, if you don't knock and you enter, the way the man will sack you in. So they don't they don't come inside without knocking. When we are inside, whether action or no action, it is locked. And if it wants to happen outside, it means that nobody is everywhere clear. Everything, yeah, you understand. You have to be more responsible, because you see, you can't always say that you're always doing bedrooms. It gets boring. So sometimes you want to do something, like make sure, especially with kids, make sure that everywhere is heavily, secured, because it's not a good thing to subject it. But then again, like she said, make lemonade out of the lemon. Use it as an opportunity to sort of like educate them, give them sex education. And let me touch on the sex education in schools. You see, the reason why I prefer sex education to be at home is because we know our children and we know how to disseminate it how we want it. Most of the things that come in schools, the concept is nice, but the delivery, the execution is the problem.
Yeah.
You see the books, all you see is some huge penis drawn and some vagina being drawn and something entering. Is so sharp, is so abrupt, is so, So I think that if the sex education can be done, tailored in stages, like you said, for the age of 5, what is allowed, maybe just knowing body parts. As you keep going, you start learning certain things, because sometimes it gets very tricky. Some of the materials I've seen were not exactly palatable. Yeah.
Right.
Quick one.
Last one,
Quick one. I just wanted to say that if they lied to the child, right, and the child needed that kind of opportunity to talk about it, because they lied to the child, by now that child has already gone to school and is discussing with their sort of close friends.
Exactly.
Because
yeah.
I've had instances whereby my son has come home to tell me, so as much as possible as parents, let's just be open with our children. And going back to what Rosie said about schools, depending on the school, because my child goes to a school whereby they actually teach in stages.
Yeah.
And recently my daughter, who'll be turning 14 very soon, came home and told me everything that happened, because there's a nurse practitioner in the school and they do things properly. She, for the first time, told me that she's seen what a female condom looks like, what a male condom looks like, and how it works. And she's 14. So depending on, and at every stage, when she was in Form 1, there was a different kind of education. Form 2, different kind of education, and Form 3, different kind of
but that
education.
depends on the
So
school.
it depends. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That
I'm
it depends
talking
on
about
the school
generally.
and what's
But
available.
generally,
So.
generally it has to
And
be.
I think home is
Okay,
should also
sisters, I think we've come to the end
Okay.
of the episode. I'm sorry to cut you, but I want to say a very big thank you to each and every one of you. I think this has been very important discussion, especially wrapping it around sex education
Exactly.
and kids. And kids, because it's a conversation that needs to be had thoroughly so we can protect our kids out there. But once more, thank you so much, and I hope the people that sent these letters actually got a solution out of this. But it's time for us to take a quick break, and when I come back, I'll be sharing my final thoughts. Welcome back. And if you're just joining us, this is Sister right here on City TV. And if you're listening, it's 97.3 City FM. So we've gone through 2 letters, and I just want to say a very big thank you to my sisters, for contributing or, chipping in to help you find solutions to these problems. But now it's time for me to share my final thoughts. And yeah, so I'm ready. I'm just going to start with the last one that we read. The last letter that we read about the 11-year-old child bumping into his mom and stepfather having sex. And, the parents, that's the man, is kind of confused at this moment on what to do because the child seems a bit traumatized. Well, I just want to say that lying to him and telling him that it was a massage was a bit over the reach, and that is not because that you don't care about him or you're trying to gaslight him in any way, but it's you trying to protect him. But I think this is the opportunity, like the sister said, this is the opportunities for you to have some sex education with him. There's no harm in having sex education with children. It all starts at the age of 5, by teaching the child the biological names of, the body. And having sex education with the child actually makes you have a closer relationship with the child. It helps protect the child from predators, and it helps the child also have autonomy over his or her body, so someone else will not encroach on their body. So it's just about that time for you to sit down and have that conversation with the child. And also, as time changes and things changes and there's more innovation in the system, we need to realize that the children that we see today are not the ones that used to be. They're not us. They're actually like way more sharper than us. So we need to grow with the times and, find more innovative and interesting ways to raise our kids. So like I said, this is the best time for you to have, that talk with this child. Teach him what it was, tell him the consequences, and also why you were doing it. All right. And also let him know that, okay, this is meant for adults, not children. So you don't go outside practicing it. And also with you telling him, he has body autonomy over his body. So if someone else wants to prey on him, he would know that, okay, no, what this person is doing is actually wrong. You can't just be anybody and try to prey on me. So that's when the child will be able to even talk and say, okay, this person tried to touch me, this person tried to do this to me. Because when we keep hiding things, the child will hide things from you. That's what you need to know. And let's get back to the first letter that we read about the young man that was, having a secret affair with someone that was in a relationship. Basically, he was the side boy. Or maybe she was also a side girl to him. But he was having a relationship with someone that was already in a relationship, and she had a lot of abortions. Well, I think, young man, I think she is just trying to blackmail you just because she looks at you as very soft. Like Olivia said, I think you should have some balls. You should have some balls to stop that whole communication. You should have some balls to speak to her and be like, no, you can't do this. Because if she keeps threatening you, I feel like you also have the right to say, okay, I'm going to also tell your husband about whatever we used to have. I don't think it's right for her to come over and then threaten you with the abortions she's had, because at the end of the day, we as adult women are supposed to also have autonomy over our body, our choice. So if we wanted kids, we would have it. If we don't want kids, we would not have it. And obviously her choice was not to have kids. That is why she made those decisions of abortion. So I don't think there's anything that you have done, because it's her choice. It's her body. So her body, her choice. She made those decisions. As long as you are saying, like, what you sent in the letter, that you had no, say in the abortion, I think it's all on her. It's all on her, and that you shouldn't be scared. But if you have a partner, this is the time to open up to your partner and say that, okay, this is what it is. There's somebody trying to blackmail me, because next time she might come tomorrow and say, okay, look, I'm going to tell your partner. And by that time, your partner already knows. It wouldn't be news to your partner, and it wouldn't have to affect your relationship. But thank you very much for trusting us to find solutions to your problems, and we hope that if you have any other ones, you could also send it to us. And if you're wondering where to send it to us, all you need to do is send it via sisterislive@gmail.com. And remember that this show was brought to you by Gino, because Gino truly cares. My name is Chris Carter, and I hope to see you next week right here on City TV. And if you're listening, it's 97.3 City FM. Bye-bye.